And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Howdy there, Cowpoke. It's the Game Boy Geek here. Hey, today we are going to be in the Wild West. We're going to be going to the saloon. We're going to be robbing town folk. We're going to be breaking our buddies out of prison. We're going to be robbing the bank or the stagecoach. We're going to be having some shootouts in Nowheresville. Bandit Paradise, 2 to 5 players, ages 10 and up from Jira Games. And so we're going to take a look at this light but yet fun game. And I'll show you on the other side how it's played and what I finally think of it. At the beginning of the game, everybody gets to select their bandit of choice. This bandit we say is Sanso Panso, and we have different attributes there. The first one here shows how much experience he has. This helps break ties. This one, this fist is courage. This helps him and aids him in robberies. This would tell him if he got any extra bullets, and this is his life for the game. Every bandit starts with the same gun, a Colt, which has 1 bullet. And everybody starts with $500, but in this game you keep your money secret. And depending on how many players, you have to get anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 to win the game. And you get to select any one of 12 of these to start the game. There's a good amount of women and men, so the game is not sexist there, and some interesting characters all over the board. The board is sort of set up like this, where we have the coach, the bank, and the prison at the top, then the shop and the black market, and then down we have the town, bandit school, and the saloon. On a player's turn, he has these 9 cards to choose from. Each one has its own little color. This is the blue color, for example. And he will, from these 9 cards, select one of them secretly and put it face down. And once everybody does that, they will then all turn it over at the same time to see which location they are sending their bandit to. Each one of these cards is one of the places that I just showed you before. The 9th card is a heal card. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about what these different locations do if you go there. If you go to the saloon and you're the only person to go there, meaning you're the first person there, you're going to get 1 equipment card, which we'll talk about in just a few moments, and you get one of these fortune cards. Fortune cards can be good or bad. For example, this gets you one free bullet for every shootout. That's a good card. This one, hey, you just got $300. That's a really good card. This one is, hey, this heals you 3. That's a really good card. But there's some bad ones in there too. Like this one, you either have to pay $500 or you have to have a shootout with the sheriff who's going to get 3 bullets, and any one of you get to choose which player acts as the sheriff, and they're going to shoot at you. Or you can bribe them for $500 and it doesn't happen. So these fortune cards are just ways to give you randomness of good or bad things to happen. If you're the second person there, you will get just the fortune card. Now, if more than one player goes to any location at any time, they have to decide between the ones that are there who's gotten there first, second, third, and sometimes not there at all. And this just goes as you try to agree who's going to be first or second. If an agreement cannot be made, a shootout ensues. So let's say the shootout's between these 2 players. Now, as we said before, the tiebreakers is the experience, and it would be the total experience of your card plus other cards you may have. In this case, she's going to be the first one to shoot. None of us have any weapons yet. We just have the normal Colt. So each of us have, right now, 1 bullet, and let's look at the bullets. There's 6 types of bullets in this game. There's 3 different sizes and 2 types of bullets. The Colt by itself gets you the sort of spider web type of bullet, and the 1 means it's the smallest of the 3, which means one of these types of bullets. There's a medium of that, and there's a large of the spider type bullets. There's also the round type bullets that are small, medium, and large, and you get different bullets by getting different weapons, which we'll show you in just a moment. But for now, since both of them just have a Colt, each one have 1 free bullet of that to shoot. Now, if you see Rodeo Alice at the beginning of the game actually got a +1 bullet, so she has 1 free bullet always in every shootout with the Colt, and she has 1 extra one that she might have a one-time use that she may want to use in this shootout. So the player controlling Alice is going to shoot first because she had the more experience, and she has that 1 free bullet first. So she's literally just going to take it, and you're supposed to stand about 3 feet away, but usually if you're sitting around the table, you're close enough, and you take it and you throw it. Boom! Ooh, Alice missed. But if you remember, she had one of these, so she's going to trade this bullet in. She gets rid of the token. She's going to get a second bullet. Boom! Hit him. That gives this guy one 1 wound. Now if you hit him in the head, it's 2 wounds. If you hit him in just the hat, it's nothing, but head is 2 wounds, and that is 1 wound. So he has a wound. And now he would shoot at her. Ooh, terrible miss. Now obviously if one of these guys had a bigger gun, it's a lot easier to hit people with it. So at the end of the shootout, as soon as both players pass, they have no bullets left or they don't want to shoot, you see who has the most wounds, or the least amount of wounds, which is her. She has no wounds here. She would get the first position. The second amount of people, the second less wounds would get the second place. If it's tied, it goes to experience, and if it's still tied, you roll a die. So in this case, she would get the first position in the saloon, and he would get the second. Interesting to note that this guy has this wound, and when he enters a battle next time, he carries those wounds into the fight with him. The Bandit School, the first person there gets to choose any 2 of these, which is 3 bullets, so you'd get 3 of these, 2 experience, and we just saw experience causes ties, beats ties, and we have, you'd get 1 courage, which we'll show you robberies in a bit. The first person here gets to choose any 2 of those. They can choose the same one twice. The second person only gets to choose 1. I'm going to jump up to the shop in the black market and skip the town for now. Black market. You have to pay $200 at the black market, and if you're the first person there, you get to pick 3 of the top equipment cards up. You get to look at them, choose the one you want, and put the other 2 back on top. If you're second, you also pay the $200, and you get to take the 2 that the other person actually knows what they are, pick one of them, and put 1 on top. If you're the third person, you pay the $200, and you're taking the last card, which the 2 people previous to the black market this round has seen what you have. The shop, you pay $100. The first person gets to choose any one of these 3. The second person gets to choose any 2 that's left, and the third person gets to choose 1. All 3 of them have to pay the $100. So let's look at these equipment cards and show you what they do. Well, in the equipment cards, you can have guns or weapons. Here is a volcanic. It gives you 1 more experience. You get 3 extra one-time use bullets that you can use, and you get the spider web, but it has a 3 there, which means you're getting the biggest spider web gun when you use this one. And it's a one-handed weapon. I'll show you what that means in just a moment. Or you could grab the Winchester, which adds 3 experience, 2 bullets that you don't have to give away, that you always get them, and it's the smallest one, but it's the round target, and it's a 2-handed weapon. Whenever you go to a shootout, you can choose to either hold 2 one-handed weapons or 1 2-handed weapons, but you have to decide before the shootout. And then lastly here we see the Spencer, which gives you some 2 experience, 1 bullet all the time. It's a 2-handed weapon, and it gives you the largest round one. Now the other things that are in the equipment are things that help you do robberies. So we have a watch. Now we have 3 different types of robberies you can do. You can try to rob the bank, which shows a safe. You could try to rob the coach, which shows envelopes. Or you could break people out of prison, or rob somebody in the town with a cowboy hat. Now the watch obviously is the best at shooting at robbing the coach with a value of 4, and it's not very good at robbing people. We have the whiskey, which thematically, obviously, it's the best for robbing people because you get them drunk and then you rob them. But it's not very good at the bank because, hey, whiskey doesn't really help unlocking safes. And then we have the Mustang, which is really good at everything. 3 of all because, hey, a Mustang's a good getaway car, and it can get you and it can surprise people. So those are the things that help you with robberies, so let's talk about those. So we skipped over the town, and I did that on purpose because now we're going to show what happens when you rob somebody. Again, if you're first person here, you could either take $200 or try to rob the person that's here, or you can take an equipment card. The second person just gets $100. So let's say we're going to do the rob action. And here we have the mayor, and there's all different victims in the deck here that change each round. But we see a 7. We need 7 cowboy hats, and if we rob them, we get $600. So we look at what cards we have that could help us in our sort of playboard. So let's say we have the whiskey. And as we see the cowboy hat, we need to beat 7. So in fact, we need 8. And I have a hat of 4 here. So I need to roll a 4 to get to the number 8. 4 of my roll plus 4 of the hat would be 7. In this case, I got 3. So 4 plus 3 is 7, which equals this, which is not enough to rob this guy. But after that, after I roll, I can use those courage tokens that I have that help with the robbery. And if I have one of these and I want to just use it, that would get me to 8. And now I've robbed this person and I've gotten the $600. I would then turn in the whiskey. It would leave me because I've already used it. It goes out of my possession. So does this token. But I would have gotten $600. Now, if I want to make my life easier, I had whiskey and maybe I also had a knife. And I would add these. 4 plus 2 is 6. I need to beat 7, essentially an 8. I would only have to roll a 2. Well, there, boom, I would have been able to do that without the courage because I had enough weapons to do so. And that's essentially how you rob all the different things. In this case, we're using the cowboy hat. And here's the 3 main places to rob also. The prison. All 3 of these you see you need an 8. For the prison, you need a cowboy hat because you are trying to break somebody out of prison. If you beat 8, which means you're getting 9 cowboy hats on any one place, you get to take and look through the whole entire deck. These are the other characters that weren't selected at the beginning of the game. You can take any one of them and add it to your hand, which is very powerful because essentially it's like having 2 turns every round. Now you can have a maximum of 3 of these people at any time during the game, and if you remember during the beginning of the round, we're checking our cards and we're putting them down. Well, now each character gets a card, so I get to go to 2 different locations and do 2 things at the same time, so it can be very powerful to have multiple characters and essentially getting more turns than your opponents. The bank and the coach, if you rob those successfully, essentially you take the money that's on them. For the bank, you need to beat 8 safes, and the coach, you need to beat 8 envelopes. If you do, you take all the money, and of course it's face down so nobody can tell. If nobody has robbed a bank and the entire round's over, everyone's gone, if nobody's robbed this, $1 gets added. And if nobody robs it again for the next turn, $1 gets added. So after time, it usually takes a few turns for people to get enough points to be able to rob these, and these dollars are starting to stack up. Well, if somebody robs the bank and then it gets empty, it's gonna, at the beginning of the next round, get $2 to sort of prime the pot a little bit more, and if nobody robbed the coach that round there. So each round, the dollar value is going up and up and up, which is gonna make it more likely people are gonna go there, which means more shootouts. You're gonna continue to go to 1 place per person for a round until one person has $2,000 to $3,000, depending on how many people are playing. As soon as someone gets the right amount of money, they win the game and flip up the money and show that they have won. All right, well, there is Nowheresville. The reason why I was interested in this game is hearing about those shootouts and those different types of rubber bands that you're using to throw at people. And indeed, that is by far the best part of the game and the most fun part of the game. When you and your buddies go to the same spot, you can't agree on something, and you're gonna fight it out. And you're throwing those things at each other, and there's a lot of tension. A lot of it really, it can make or break the game whether you win that shootout or not. And you're throwing them, and boom, and this tends to be the part where everyone erupts in either laughter or oh, it tends to be the best part of the game by far. And so the part, that to me alone makes this game just fun enough to play, because it's just a blast to see you guys throwing stuff at each other's buddies. Now the game itself, it's light, it's 60 minutes, it's sort of a family game-ish. There is some decisions to make. You have that sort of that hidden role, the hidden location selection, and even though the fighting is like the best part, I was afraid that it wouldn't happen as often as you'd want, but you'd be surprised, even with 4 players, almost every round somebody was going somewhere where somebody else wanted to go, because as the dollar bills pop up and they start getting up more and more on the places to rob, people are going to be going there. And if they see it to start go there, they're going to be going to the places that get them equipment to be able to rob. So more often than not, there are shootouts happening, which is good. So I like the idea of the thematic things of robbing and the different equipment that you need, the 2-handed guns, the 1-handed guns, the different bullets. All that was fun. So for me, the game was fun. It didn't blow me away. It's not something I want to play every day. It's one of those once in a while, let's pull it out and we'll have a blast with the guys. So overall, it was just a fun game. Now, there were a handful of things that I didn't like about it. Component-wise, the components were actually great on everything except for the money. The money was just like paper thin. They bent easily. They were just hard to play with, but you have to keep them secret, so you kept them face down, but even just normally handling them, they got bent up and they were a mess. I wish they had used better quality money on this. The other thing is, there's a couple other things that I think are now group thought would make this game from just a good game to a great game, and that was sort of the art of negotiating, where when you get to a spot it says, can you agree who goes first? Well, the rules don't say, can you trade anything? It doesn't say you can, so we assumed you couldn't. But if when you got there, you said, hey, okay, I'll let you have first, but you're gonna give me some money. Or I'll let you go first, but you're gonna hand me over some of those bullets. Or vice versa, or I'll let you go first, but next time we're in a standoff, you're not gonna shoot me, you're gonna shoot somebody else. We thought that if you added that amount of negotiation, it would have taken this game from good to great, because it would have really added a lot to the who goes there. When you both go, who's first, who's second, it would have really have been the shining aspect of the game in addition to the shootout, as opposed to just the shootouts. Also, we had wished that there were maybe some fortune cards that allowed you to attack other players. Now, if you shoot out somebody who's got over $1,000 and you win the shootout, you get to take $300 from him. Something I didn't mention in the overview, which is good because you can try to get down the leader. But
we felt there should have been a little bit more interaction of when you get in a shootout, maybe there's some fortune cards that you've gotten that you can play and recruit other people to come help you. And again, negotiation. Help me get this guy out now and I'll help you later. We thought that would have made this game from good to great. But otherwise, it's a decent, light, fun game to throw out. It's beer and pretzel type of thing. There is some thought, but it's not too crazy. And it's light, but if they added the negotiation, some cards to help manipulate and give some more player interaction, and had some better money, it would have been from good to great. But either way, it still might just be a fun thing that you're looking for. Nowheresville, Bandit Paradise. Hey, one more thing before you go. If you're about to drop a comment on this YouTube page for this video, and you're expecting interaction or a personal response from me, I recommend the place to do that is at my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/thegameboygeek, because I don't get notified when YouTube videos get comments on the Dice Tower Network because I don't own the channel. So if you want to interact with me directly, I'll see you at my Facebook page.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.